Happy video day, guys. Christina, Brooke here. Today's video, we are doing my 1 year, 1 brand follow-up for the month of March. So Natasha Denona is my brand for the whole year. If you guys have been following along with this series, I picked one brand to purchase every new release from. So that's every single new release that comes out from one brand, I'm going to pick up what they come out with. So the brand that won this year is Natasha Denona. So this is the year of Natasha Denona for me. And I've been doing these updates every single month to talk about what she released for the month, giving you guys my feedback on the stuff that I picked up. And of course, you guys love the chisme, which is the gossip, and I do have a chisme in this video of some stuff that I figured out. One of them was actually something that I guessed, and I was gonna include it alone in this video, but then all of a sudden, it kind of turned real, which is kind of funny. So we're gonna be getting into that in just a second. So if you guys are excited, if you're a huge Natasha Denona fan, maybe you'd wanna hit subscribe because you're gonna see everything that she releases this year on this channel. So I would love to share it with you guys. And of course, leave me your feedback down below because of course I love to read what you guys have to say. But anyways, let's get into this video. We've got a lot of fun stuff to talk about. Let's start right now. So March was interesting, guys. Natasha Denona released the XOXO. So if you guys have been following this series, then you know in January, I had a achievement. I had a little gossip that had told me that this palette was going to be coming out. So my little internet detectives DM'd me on Instagram and was like, oh my goodness, look at this palette. I saw the image of it. I said, wow, that actually looks like it really is a Natasha palette. I never released the image, but I did give you guys the little 411 that something colorful was coming out, and it did, and it's the XOXO, and it finally got announced by Natasha. I picked it up right away. So you guys do know I did a make up your mind on this one. I tried to find through my collection to see if I could find similar colors to it, so I could kind of get an idea of what it was gonna look like. So when I did actually pick it up, I was not surprised by this color story. If you guys know, I rearranged my XOXO, which is also something we'll talk about here. I figured it was gonna look something very similar to this. After looking for it in my collection, I kind of already had an idea of the colors, so this didn't shock me whatsoever. Now, one thing that did shock me was how it was laid out. When I was looking on the Sephora website, because I actually did end up buying it from Sephora, and I looked at the image, I was like, wow. You know, it's funny because the image is pretty, like almost like they arranged it in a way that it would photograph nice, but looking at it, I was like, oh, I don't know if people are gonna like this layout. It just is kind of like all over the place. So right when I picked it up, I said, I need to do a rearrange video. The last time I rearranged a Natasha Denona palette was actually the Metropolis, which gave me the same vibe as this one. Like it needed a little fixer-upper in order for me to like really see it better, and also for you guys. So I ended up rearranging XOXO, and I like it better this way. I feel like it's been a lot more user-friendly even for me to use rearrange this way. If you guys want to see how I did rearrange it, I'm gonna have a video up here. On my Instagram, I actually have all the shade names laid out for you so that you guys can actually see which shade goes where if you want to kind of copy this. I will link down below my Instagram post that says that. But yeah, so I rearranged it, and I do feel like it makes a lot more sense rearranged. When I was looking at the Sephora reviews, I was looking to see what people were saying, and I feel like a lot of people had the problem with the layout. Like it just didn't make a lot of sense to them, and I get it. I feel like this palette is really good. The formula in here is amazing. I really like the formula, okay? Now the color selection is going to not be for everybody. And I wanna just stress this to everybody who's looking at this. I know the VIB sale is coming. I know that the hype of a new palette releasing can make you want it, but I just want you guys to really look at this palette. If you do not use these colors, or you're somebody who doesn't like color at all and you really don't wanna add any, don't get this. It is definitely a very primary color palette. There is a lot of color in here. No matter what look you try to come out with this palette, you're gonna have straight up color. So the only way to make this a little bit more neutral with a pop of color is by bringing in another palette, which I have a whole video that I did on how to do that with this palette. I will put it up in the cards, and I'll also link it down below. And it's a way that you can use this palette to just add those pops of color in, which I think is really fun and I enjoy. But if you're somebody who doesn't like that, just, you know, wait a while. Maybe this is not for you, and that's totally okay. Not every palette needs to be for you, and I think that this one in particular is not for everybody. Now, when it comes to formula, like I was saying, I love this formula. There's only one shade in here, which I do know some people are not going to love, and it's the one that's the creamy matte. It's kind of like a teal dark blue. That formula is harder to use. It's creamy. It's a matte, but it's creamy. You have to be careful how much product you pick up of this one in particular, because when you put it down, it can stick in place because it's a creamy matte. So you gotta build it up slowly. I personally like her other formula better than the creamy matte formula. I don't mind it. I can manipulate it, but I do know in the Metropolis she did a lot of those, and those are the shades that I don't love the most. You know what I mean? So I love the dustier mattes. I like the regular standard mattes from her. I just think they're so beautiful. They do have kickback on them. They are a little bit more dusty, but they're super pigmented. You guys see the look I have on today. It is using this palette. I wanted to do something a little pastel-y. I just wanted to use this palette on its own today for today's video. I will tell you, when I first saw that this was one of the releases for the year, I got so many people telling me, oh my goodness, poor Christina, she has to pick this up no matter what. It's $129, poor thing. And I know, I get it. I understand why some of you guys thought that. I mean, most of you guys know I like neutral colors. I like to play with color, but I'm not like a super colorful person. So this is just definitely not my style of palette. But the thing that kind of made me okay with it is that I don't really have a colorful palette in my collection that I can say I love that formula. And when I do want to play with color, because I actually do play with color, I don't have one that I love. So I'm happy to have Natasha Denona's palette with some beautiful colors in here that if I do want to do a pop of color, if I want to do an abstract eye, if I want to do something different, I have her formula to go to, and I'm okay with that. But also, I am on YouTube. I also do Instagram looks. You know, this is a very artsy palette, and I'm a very artsy person. So that is why it makes sense for me, but it totally makes sense why it may not make sense to you. So just remember, there is more palettes coming out. Natasha does not sleep. This lady definitely hits her deadlines and she comes out with stuff. So we have more to come. So if you have to skip this one, totally skip it. But overall, I'm happy with it. I think it's a cool palette. I'm also happy that it doesn't have any neutral colors in it, because I think that this palette, if it would have had neutral colors in it, would have tried to like force people to want it. Like, hey, look, it has neutrals in it. And I think what this was for was just like that accent palette, and I'm happy it's just an accent palette. I don't know. For me, I think it was done fine. Totally okay. Now, let's talk about some cheese. Let's talk about some cheese mip. Now, I was gonna tell you this in the last video, but I decided let's hold it. Let's wait until the next video so I have some cheese to say every month, if I could find stuff. And this is something I found out last month. So you guys told me to check her trademarks last month. So I did do that. And when I was looking through her trademarks, I saw that she had trademarked a palette called Jubilee. It was trademarked August 4th, 2020, okay? So technically things usually take close to a year before they release when things are trademarked. So I saw this and it said an eyeshadow palette. And I said, ooh, Jubilee. Didn't she have an eyeshadow by that name? Like, I just remembered Jubilee. So I Googled Jubilee Natasha Denona, and I found that she had a green eyeshadow by the name of Jubilee that looked like people really, really liked it. I believe it was a single shadow. Let me know if that's wrong, but I think it was a single shadow that she had. And I was looking at it and I was like, that's a beautiful color. And then it just clicked to me. I said, oh, I wonder if she's making a palette around the color Jubilee, which would mean a greenish color palette, right? So I got so excited and I was like, I cannot wait to share this with everybody, because obviously this is not something I know for fact. All I know is there is a trademark out there for sure because it's under her name. There is something potentially coming out by the name of Jubilee. I just don't know what. Now, just doing some research is what made me think, if it's an eyeshadow palette, could it be a green theme palette? Oh my goodness. So this week's video, I was going to tell you guys all about this idea that I had that maybe there was going to be something coming out that was green. And then And then BoxyCharm sends out this email last week, which I was like, oh my goodness. Actually, I guess it's a good thing that I hadn't filmed this video yet before I got this thing. This did get announced through BoxyCharm, and you guys probably would have been like, oh, Christina, we already know what it is. But BoxyCharm releases a sneak peek of a Boxy exclusive. So this is only for people who have BoxyCharm, which is hilarious because I canceled BoxyCharm last month. So it says that for the April box, there's going to be 2 palettes that are releasing from Natasha Denona, and it says Boxy exclusive. So I'm assuming these are only going to be available to people who have BoxyCharm, which I do not know more. So there's the Natasha Denona Ayana eyeshadow palette of $48 value, and the Natasha Denona Jubilee eyeshadow palette for $48. And the funny part is if you zoom in, the two last colors, and then this one almost looks like a green color. So there was kind of like a green eyeshadow palette under the name Jubilee coming out from Natasha, but it looks like it might have just been a BoxyCharm collab. Now, I don't know why I still feel like there's going to be another palette coming out with that. Could this be the Jubilee eyeshadow palette that got me so excited? Now, I don't know, guys. Now I'm thinking that the Jubilee trademark was for this eyeshadow palette for BoxyCharm. Could it have been for this? Now, that kind of disappoints me just a tad. A, because I canceled BoxyCharm, and also because it's a little bit Easter eggy. I'm not gonna lie. Not in love with this eyeshadow palette. I love the last 2 tones, like that deep, like it looks like a green, and then it also looks like a really cool color, which reminds me of like that color of Jubilee. And the last 2 colors I really like, but then the rest of it I'm like, so it was almost like I had this vision in my mind that when I saw that Jubilee was like this greenish color, and I'm going to show a picture of it on the screen so you can see it better. I was so excited. I was like, oh my goodness, we're going to get a really beautiful green, maybe like hunter with a little bit of those accents. Like I was so excited that we may be getting like a green palette from Natasha. You know, maybe in a midi, not those huge $230 ones. I know she has a green one there, but I wanted like a condensed, like really cool one. And I really thought that maybe that trademark was an indication that we were gonna get one. Then I saw this from BoxyCharm and it just made me go, wah, wah. Like, I don't know. Could this be the trademark? Could it have been this? So if you have BoxyCharm, you may be getting one of these 2, but I think there's also another like option. Like I think there's 3 things. Like you either get a Natasha Denona palette or you get like a pharmacy, I'm gonna make something up, face cleanser. But I canceled BoxyCharm. March was my last month. I just decided that I just didn't need it anymore. I've got so much makeup, and honestly the boxes, I was just opening them for you guys, and then I was saving all of the stuff for giveaways because I just don't have time to try all of them. So I said, you know what? Now I have Ipsy sending me PR. I also have Glossybox sometimes sending me PR. So I was already getting too many subscription boxes, so I canceled BoxyCharm. And then of course now they're coming out with the Natasha palette, which I will not have. But I just wanted to tell you guys that. So that is the cheese. That is the cheese, man. My Jubilee idea did come true, but not in the way that I was hoping that it would. So let me know down below what you guys think. Let me know if you have BoxyCharm, if you're excited. And do you think maybe there's another Jubilee palette coming? Do you think there's something else? Like maybe this wasn't just for the BoxyCharm. Maybe we're going to see a bigger version of this. I don't know. I don't think so. I was hoping so, but I don't think so. But anyways, leave me all of those comments. So that is going to be my update for March on Natasha Denona. I'm so excited to see what comes out in April. If there's any launches, I'm sure something's going to be coming for spring. I don't think that this is going to be her only spring. I think there's going to be an actual spring palette or like spring summer. So I'm excited to see what that's going to be. And if my internet detectives find out anything, don't forget to DM me on Instagram at Christina Brooke Beauty. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and yeah, I'll talk with you guys in the next one. Bye.